Good afternoon, and thank you for joining today's webinar on emerging trends of today's mobile shopper. My name is Cindy Raymond, and I'll be today's moderator. Please note that your lines have been muted. If you have any questions, please input them throughout the presentation into the questions panel on the right-hand side of your screen. Today, Randy Fougier, Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Tenzing Managed IT Services, will be joining us, as well as our guest speaker, Rosalina Lin-Allen, Head of Strategy at Delvinia. Roz is a digital strategist. She has advised numerous organizations on how to move prospects through the sales funnel and how to integrate web and digital channels into the omni-channel mix. We do have a full agenda today, so let's get started, and I'll hand things over to you, Randy.
Thank you, Cindy, and welcome, everyone. We're glad that you were able to free up some time and make this call with us today. I also want to thank Roz from Delvinia, who's going to share some really great content with you later on during the presentation. We'll get to that in a moment. But this is a full year now of running quarterly webinars with our partner Delvinia, and it's been great for us and for our customers and other folks to come on and get some really great research based on their consulting and their strategy practice, and a lot of excellent work that Roz will talk about in a few moments as she introduces Delvinia. A little bit about Tenzing for those who don't know us. We, in a nutshell, are a fully managed hosting company, and the two keywords on this slide are mission critical. So we are really about having the people in place, the facilities, the infrastructure, and the expertise to drive companies that are making revenue on the internet, that are supporting customers in a software as a service model, and also supporting some large back office enterprise applications that need to be running 24/7. So we are really about making sure that the availability is there, the performance is there, and of course the third leg in the stool, which is security at all times. A little bit about us. We were founded in '98, so we're going on our 15th year in business now. We have over 400 customers, and we've got data centers in Toronto, Kelowna, Vancouver, and soon to be Dallas, Texas, which opens up in the middle of next month. So we're very excited about that for some of our U.S. clients. We really do power some of the biggest brands in the world. A lot of our customers, particularly on the e-commerce side with multiple brands, and on the SaaS side with large Fortune 1000 companies that they support. Between them, you would recognize quite a few pages worth of logo drops of some really stellar companies out there in the world today. One of our advantages in terms of security is that we are annually audited for what I call the big three, so SSA 16, ISO 27001, and very important to e-commerce, of course, and Visa and credit card transactions is PCI compliancy. And we undergo these audits annually to make sure that we adhere to best practices, that we continually improve, and at the end of the day that as a hosting provider, we're doing every single thing we can to make sure that our customers' data is safe and secure at all times. Now, in terms of e-commerce, which is a huge focus for us, we're very specialized in a number of different technology platforms, so Oracle ATG, IBM, and WebSphere, Intershop, Magento, Hybris, to name a few. And we also support a lot of the ecosystem technologies for our clients. So, content management from Sitecore, for example, or product information management from Hyler and others, payment gateways, you name it. There's obviously an entire sphere of ecosystem technologies that we work with our systems integrators on to make sure that we can support those, as well as the main platform for the e-commerce store, or in some cases for a homegrown application that our customers developed over the years. So that is really a little bit about Tenzing, and I will now pass it over to Roz to talk a little bit about Delvinia and share some great content on the mobile shopper.
Great, thank you, Randy, and good afternoon, everyone. Before we go into the webinar topic, I thought I'd give you a sense of who Delvinia is for those that are not familiar with us. So Delvinia is a leading digital strategy and customer experience design consultancy in Toronto. We focus on helping our clients innovate their customer experience. So from a methodology standpoint, we deploy a customer-centric fact-based approach. In addition to discovery activities such as stakeholder interviews and landscape scan, we also conduct empirical customer research to understand your customer needs and behaviors. So we then synthesize that data points and translate the nuggets of insight to inform strategy and experience that brings business results. Client-wise, we work with leading Canadian brands in various sectors, helping them innovate customer experiences through digital means. And the last thing I wanted to share with you on Delvinia is our capabilities. To the left are tools and platforms that fuel our consulting practice in strategy, customer experience, and experience design. Our platforms and tools include a proprietary online research community called Asking Canadians, where we conduct consumer research on behalf of our clients as well as independently. In our webinar today, I'll be sharing with you some insights collected through Asking Canadians. We also have other insight tools to fuel our strategy and experience consulting practice. One of my favorite is the customer journey map, where we map out the customer's path to purchase in your product category based on consumer research. And I'll share a sample of those artifacts with you as well in the webinar today. So in terms of today's topic, the Canadian mobile shopper, what I'd like to cover with you today is to start grounding our conversation with the mobile landscape, then talk about the impacts and opportunities brought forth by mobile, and then wrapping up with the approach to guide you on how to start acting on mobile after this webinar. So let's start with the mobile landscape. So when I spoke about this topic in partnership with Tenzing 18 months ago, smartphone penetration was 32% amongst the Canadian population. Today, smartphone has reached a tipping point where over half of those we surveyed through Asking Canadians own a smartphone. Tablets are a bit less pervasive, but tablet owners are generally early adopters of technology. And I'll go through some more of that in detail in a later slide. But what you can see from these stats is that we're entering a mobile-first era. In fact, several studies, including Gartner's, predicted that. So Gartner had mentioned that sometime this year, in 2013, more people would browse the web via mobile devices rather than PC devices, and we're really seeing that evidence in the Canadian market as well. And from a commerce standpoint, Gartner also predicted that the shift from e-commerce to m-commerce would reach something of a tipping point by 2015. And with that, you can see the importance and pertinence of understanding the mobile shopper and how to approach mobile in your organization. From a shopping standpoint, mobile is really the consumer shopping companion, enabling us to be savvier shoppers. When we think about the path to purchase today, it's really gotten a lot more complex and nonlinear. One of the reasons is that consumers take matters into their own hands now and spend more time researching products and services, and they can, given the greater access to information and their peers. Access to the peers through social media and mechanisms such as ratings and reviews. And mobile plays a role throughout the entire decision journey. In fact, 20% of those surveyed through Asking Canadians say they already shop via the mobile device in the past 12 months. The other important thing that's worth knowing is that while we speak of mobile in general terms, covering both smartphones and tablets, now that tablets have been in market for about 3 years, we're seeing diverging use of tablets and smartphones. From a shopping standpoint, tablets tend to be used earlier in the shopping cycle to research and discover products. That behavior makes sense when you think about it, given that it's got a more generous screen size. It's just much easier to conduct content-intensive activities like understanding your different options. Tablet-based shopping is also more likely to be done in the home environment, while smartphones are, on the other hand, tend to be used more on the go and closer to the decision point when it comes to offline purchases, such as using it to locate the store that you will buy the product from or comparing prices while you're in the store. What's also noteworthy is that given tablets' more generous screen size and being the device for the home where consumers are not as time-pressed, more percentage of tablet shoppers bought through the tablet device than their smartphone device, with 43% of those surveys saying that they have used their tablets to make a purchase compared to 16% that have done so through their smartphones. I do caution you with these figures. By looking at these numbers superficially, you may conclude that it's better to put your m-commerce or mobile commerce energy into the tablet experience, but do keep in mind that tablet penetration is less than half of that of smartphones. So now that we have the lay of the land, let's talk about the key impacts and opportunities brought forth by mobile. They can really be distilled into 5 key areas, and I'll walk you through each of them in the next few slides. So we know that digital has empowered consumers, giving us much easier access to information and our peers, while mobile devices really help us take that to the next level. So mobile is really a connector. It connects us with our families and friends as well as like-minded people, such as people that had bought the same product you're looking at right now through ratings and reviews. It also connects us anywhere we are, including while we're standing in the store aisle. And mobile also acts as a connector between the physical and online world, and many companies have realized this and are experimenting with this capability. For example, Home Depot enables customers that are interested in researching online and buying offline with the ability to specify which location they want to shop from and only display relevant products for that particular location. While consumers are on the go, Home Depot also enables them to look up inventory information so they know for certain which store carries their product, avoiding disappointment when they go into the stores. From an offline to online standpoint, Walmart USA created a geo-fence shopping app. In other words, when consumer enters the store area, the location-aware app will prompt them to enter store mode. In the store mode, there are various features that support the customer while they're shopping in the store. For example, customers can scan the product code and get richer product details through Walmart's site so that they can self-serve and no longer need to hunt down a floor staff at Walmart, which can be quite an experience in itself. On the flip side, if there's an item out of stock, customer can scan the product code and order directly on Walmart.com, preventing Walmart from losing the sales to other retailers. And we know the connection from offline to online is in play because 12% of Walmart's online sales are made through this app while customers are in their stores. Virtual store is another example of connecting offline to online, where you bring the store to the customer. A few companies have tested this concept, and in Canada, this includes one of the prominent online retailers called Well.ca, as well as Walmart Canada. So the way it works is that consumers can scan the picture on the wall or the QR code associated with the product on this large wall of product images through their mobile device and buy the product directly through the merchant's m-commerce site. This is also an interesting way to expand your brand's physical footprint without having to invest in actual store that is very costly and in the context where good real estate is really hard to find. From a connecting consumer to family, friends, and their peer standpoint, I wanted to highlight that customer ratings and reviews are critical information influencing the shopping journey today. In fact, 73% of Canadians use customer reviews and ratings in their decision-making journey. And they told us that it's the second most sought-after piece of information for the product research after price. And the implication of mobile is that it enables consumers to access peer opinion anywhere they are. Aside from ratings and reviews, other applications to connect consumers with peers are also emerging. For example, Skull Candy connects prospects with fans via live chat to get them trusted, authentic advice from people that have bought and used the product. And with mobile devices, this conversation could happen while they're standing in your store seconds before they make a decision. So think about the implications and opportunities for your brand when consumers can start doing that. They can start bypassing your sales staff and directly asking other consumers while they're standing in your store. The second impact and opportunity area I'd like to discuss with you today is around portability. So some parts of the purchase journey simply make more sense in a mobile environment. For example, Home Depot provides customers with the how-tos of home renovation, including how to build a shed. It also provides customers with a list of material required, plus a calculator to measure the amount of material needed. Well, those measurements happen outside in the backyard, so making the tool mobile certainly makes sense and eases the shopping journey. Companies are also playing with different solutions to close the gap. PayPal expanded their services by testing the use of QR code at physical stores in the Netherlands. In this scenario, PayPal encourages m-commerce by lining up the QR code of the product in the shop window so that while the stores are closed, window shoppers can still buy from the retailer by snapping a picture of the QR code on their mobile device. Layer is another app solution where you can layer on functionality onto any imageries, whether it's magazine pages, outdoor ads, or even web pages. Through Layer, consumers can overlay their mobile device over a picture, say a page in a fashion magazine that features clothing, like the one shown on the slide here, and buy it through their mobile device. Our friends at Dispatch out of Halifax are also doing some interesting things with augmented reality. With their solution, merchants can enhance the shopping experience by overlaying mobile device over a product or imagery. Content will then be served up to tell them more about the product in the form of videos or in the form of a virtual product in which you can interact with through augmented reality. But mobile doesn't just improve convenience for the customer, it also provides efficiency for your staff. For example, JCPenney enables their sales associates to be more productive and better service customers through the iPod Touch device. So through these mobile devices, their employees are able to view training videos, store display layout, and any other material through the mobile device, which were previously locked behind the point of sale at the counter. Moreover, their sales associates are able to better service their customer because they're able to find more information for them right there, as well as check them out using the iPod Touch. The third impact and opportunity area is related to rich context, and this is an area that really excites me, and there's a lot of great potential here. So when we think about it, our smartphone is not just a shopping companion, but an extension of us. We're able to see through them through the camera function, and in fact today, in the past month, 50% of mobile phone owners have used their camera function on their phone to take pictures of items they may want to buy. But not only can smartphone devices see or record visuals for us, they can also converse with us in audio form, and they know the time and have a lot of capabilities around location and motion, such as through GPS, proximity sensor, accelerator, and so forth. There's also a lot of extensions that's being built to add additional sensors to the smartphone, such as the glucose dock that is designed to measure and record one's blood sugar level. Just a couple of examples of what Delvinia has done with our clients. In working with our client Manulife, we know that travel insurance is a last-minute purchase for travelers, and 2/3 of the time people go on the plane without thinking about travel insurance. So we leverage geofence advertisements by targeting an area within 10-kilometer radius of major airports, Canadian airports. So this enables us to capitalize on the golden opportunity between the time travelers check in and before they board the plane. So when they're checking their mobile devices while waiting, they can get exposed to Manulife's travel insurance messages. As another example, on a project with Wall Street Journal, we learned through our insights work that target audience is highly concentrated in the Bay Street area. So we developed a location-based advertisement campaign targeting their prospects there. This yielded a click-through rate 100 times more than normal online media buy. So this is a couple ways that we have used some of the functions within the mobile devices, but we believe this is just the beginning. Imagine all the possibilities in introducing value-add products and services for your customers by combining some of these capabilities together. But beyond that, we're also seeing a lot of development in mobile devices that can detect our environment as well, such as air quality. And also, mobile devices is always connected, so you could get feeds on a variety of things. It could be weather, traffic, and so forth. So my question for you is, what value-add products and services can you introduce to your customers, leveraging some of these combined capabilities of the mobile device? One organization that's already taking advantage of mobile technology is Nike. They've created an entire new ecosystem and product set leveraging mobile technologies. Some are free to increase the value of existing Nike products, and such as the Nike Plus running community, and some provide Nike with new revenue streams such as the fuel bands. So hopefully I've demonstrated to you that there's a lot of room for creativity with mobile. On the flip side, consumers also have an appetite to get more out of mobile. 22% of those surveyed through Asking Canadians say they are comfortable sharing their mobile information with retailers they trust. And the phrase I'd like to underscore here is they trust. Trust is really a prerequisite of any program requiring such level of consumer personal information. The other key is whatever you do provide in exchange for their personal information must add value. So we need to think from a customer-centric way. Let's move on to the next topic, customer intelligence. So thus far, we've talked about providing value to the customer, and Starbucks has done this through their mobile wallet as well. So So now that consumers are purchasing their coffee, they don't have to go through all of these process where they have to sift through their wallet to look for their credit card, then insert their credit card into the machine, type in their PIN number and all that. All they have to do is scan their mobile wallet. In addition to that, the loyalty program is integrated with the mobile wallet, which further eliminates the need to sift through our wallet. But beyond that, the other payback is data collection. In this case, Starbucks now know exactly what I bought, when I bought, where I bought. Here's a couple of other mobile examples beyond the smartphone and tablets. The Springboard Concierge to the left provides value add to consumers, helping them navigate the grocery aisle and identifying which aisle a particular product is on. On the data collection side of things, it allows the retailers to collect information on how consumers navigate the store, enable better merchandise planning. This is data they did not have before using the concierge. To the right is another example with bands using near-field communication, or NFC. Several resort and amusement park brands around the world have deployed this type of mobile device on their premise, including Disney. And to take this one step further, think back on the different sensors available with your mobile device, or sensors that can be attached to your mobile devices. There could be a lot of unprecedented intelligence that brands can now collect that weren't viable in the past. From a research standpoint as well, mobile-based responses also provide richer insights in which recall-based research is not able to draw out. On our Asking Canadian sides of the business, we have worked with several brands to conduct mobile diary as a technique for consumer research in order to get more nuanced insight. And this can combine the use of the camera function in the mobile device as well as comments. So that becomes very powerful. So the last impact and opportunity area I'd like to share with you today is around mobile commerce, or m-commerce. And to level set, there are different types of mobile commerce formats, from transacting through mobile optimized websites or apps through to the use of mobile wallet in your offline environment, or near-field communication bands as we had mentioned earlier. And in an earlier slide, we also talk about that some sources have predict we'll see m-commerce surpass PC-based e-commerce in the next few years. But even today, there's real money in m-commerce. For example, Domino's Pizza in the UK and Ireland area reported that m-commerce represented 16% of their total sales in Q1 of 2012. This represents an average of £1 million per week. But beyond the convenience brought forth by m-commerce, I truly believe the higher order potential is when you start to combine m-commerce with other benefits of the mobile that we had already addressed in this webinar today. So take my daily coffee routine for an example. I like to buy a cup of coffee from the coffee shop in my office building before coming into the office. I typically arrive at the coffee shop, line up, order what I always order, then pay for my order, and wait nervously for my handcrafted coffee, given that I'm always time pressed. But this is typically this is a 10-minute routine in the mornings. And on the days I'm running late, I simply forgo my coffee. But what if we could change the process and remove my pain points with mobile? And I know many of you share the same pain. So what if when I'm in the proximity of my regular coffee shop, my smartphone will ask me whether I'd like my regular today, and by responding yes, my order is placed and paid for while I'm en route. So when I get to the coffee shop, my handcrafted drink is ready to be picked up and it's still hot. Wouldn't that be wonderful? So those are the 5 key impacts and opportunities I wanted to share with you today. But before we go into the how-tos, I'd like to also give you one last view of what's emerging. We are seeing in the marketplace that mobile devices are coming in more and more screen sizes. We started with the smartphone, then the tablet. Now we have the superphone, which is a smartphone with a larger screen, then the smaller tablet, such as the iPad mini, and now the phablets, the phone tablets. But beyond that, as technology becomes more affordable, brands will be able to apply mobile in other ways, such as in wearable technology and by implementing technology into objects. So having said that, it's important to get into the mobile space both to exploit the opportunities, but also for the learning as a defense tactic, because you never know who will bring disruption to your business through mobile, and you certainly want to be prepared for it. So if you haven't figured out mobile at your organization yet, here are some questions and frameworks to help you think through how to approach mobile. At Delvinia, we believe the way to improve customer experience and conversion is ultimately about removing the barriers for your customers to convert with you. If we think back to the customer's path to purchase, it's really a lot more complex and nonlinear today compared to a decade ago, which translates into a lot more opportunities to remove barriers for them. So the first question you want to ask yourself is, what are your customers' pain points and what do they value in their path to purchase? Once you understand that, then the next questions to ask are, what is the role of mobile in your customer's path to purchase? And what are the opportunities in leveraging mobile to better enable your frontline staff? Well, at Delvinia, we believe the way to answer these questions is starting with understanding your customer's path to purchase. And in your journey to figuring out these three key questions, I'd like to point out that customer's path to purchase is contextual. So it differs from product to product and from segment to segment. So don't paint everything with the same brush. And to expand on what I mean, here's an example of our client from Manulife. So we do quite a bit of work with them, particularly in the direct-to-consumer brand area, and their direct-to-consumer brand is called CoverMe. CoverMe sells different types of insurance from health and dental, life, through to travel and critical illness insurance. At first glance, you may think they're all insurance and the path to purchase must be the same. But what we found in a customer study is that the path to purchase are very different. For example, the research and purchase of life insurance is highly involved and individualized, where getting a full picture of one's financial standing and needs are core to the decision journey. So things like financial calculators are important in this journey. Now, having said that, travel insurance is a different animal altogether. As I mentioned in an earlier example, travel insurance is a reactive buy, where most travelers get on the plane without even thinking about travel insurance. So we wanted to find an opportunity to have those conversations with travelers and to plant the seeds about travel insurance. By mapping out the path to purchase from the point they commit to a trip through to the point, through to post-trip experience sharing, we uncovered that a great opportunity is to provide them with value-add utility, a travel app with a packing feature where they can manage their packing checklist and share it with their travel companions. And embedded in the packing checklist is travel insurance as one of the items. We also made travel insurance e-commerce site mobile optimized so that travelers can be prompt to buy travel insurance while they're at the airport, as I had mentioned in an earlier example. So as you can see from this example, the path to purchase is contextual and can differ from product to product. So to recap, we're entering a mobile-first era, and it's important for brands to service their customers through mobile. As discussed today, there are great opportunities to enhance the customer's experience, bring efficiency to how you deliver products and services, as well as collect rich data to enable your business to make better decisions faster. And in order to determine the right things to do with mobile, the place to start is with understanding your customer's path to purchase. And that brings me to the end of this webinar. I'd like to thank you for your time and hand things back to Tenzing.
Great. Thank you, Roz. Definitely very informative. We do have a number of questions, so let's get started. Roz, the first one is for you. How do we decide whether to go with a mobile site or mobile app?
That's a great question. It really depends on your business objective. So if your goal is to service the customer's path to purchase, and this includes folks that don't do business with you often or could be totally new as prospects, then the starting point is with a mobile optimized site, because the likelihood of a prospect downloading your app right off the bat is quite low. But for frequent shoppers, you can consider providing them with an app that gives them convenience. So perhaps this is where their account information is already set up, their preferences is already set up,
or their credit card information is already set up, so that when they're going through the path to purchase with you, a lot of the barriers are already removed.
Great, thank you. Randy, the next question is for you. How is mobile delivery affected by the hosting provider?
So typically it's not to a large degree. It tends to be more of an application and technology at the front end sort of play. So by that I mean, customers are typically using a content management system, sometimes with some technology that will device sense and then serve up the appropriate content in the format and resolution for that specific device. So it really doesn't affect how we stand up the environment and service it for the customer. There may be a little bit more storage space required for different flavors of the content, but really depends on the sophistication of the CMS or some of the technologies that the client uses to determine which device to serve to and which content to then deliver.
Thank you. And the next question is actually for you as well. How does Tenzing help protect and secure my data?
That's always obviously a concern for anyone, but there's some other implications for mobile. So we do a lot of work around, I mentioned earlier, audits, different process and different procedures that really talk to security, and technologies like intrusion detection and firewalls and antivirus and all those obvious things. But it really for us comes down to what we can control within our walls, and that is locked down solid. Whether it's mobile data or it's data coming off of a PC or anywhere else, it's not really that much different. There are some technologies that we can offer around encryption if the data being over the airwave is a concern. There's a variety of different options there. Most times that doesn't really get affected or have a big impact on too many people, but there is always that concern about some of the technology out there once it's past our walls. But again, we are buttoned down in here, I guess is the best way to describe it, and then we would work with our customer. If there's something that they're concerned with, there's always options around encryption, some other technology.
Roz, the next question is for you. You mentioned the customer paths to purchase differ from product to product and segment to segment. Can you expand on what you mean by they differ by segment to segment?
That's right. I provided an example of how it differs from product to product, and in the interest of time didn't provide an example of the difference between segments. So thank you for this question. So let's extend the travel insurance example. There tends to be about 3 key types of travelers: those on family trips, snowbirds that go for a long period of time and are less digital savvy, and then there's the business travelers. So family trips tend to be something that the mom researches and organizes for, and there's a lot going on before the trip, and they tend to appreciate it too, like the packing utility I mentioned earlier. So the example I had provided earlier was more catered towards the family trip planners. Take business travelers, for example. They tend to travel more frequently. Their travel preparation seems to be a lot simpler, and they tend to have their routine down pat. So something like a travel app would be of a less value to them. They also tend to purchase in bulk, like with multiple trips and likely for multiple staff members in their organization. So the way they arrive at a decision and the type of conversations would be very different in the path to purchase, as you can imagine. So that's how it could differ. The path to purchase could differ from segment to segment.
We have time for one more question, and Roz, it's actually for you.
Great.
The question is, our organization is debating about which mobile platform to start with, Apple iOS or Android. Do you have any guidance on which to go with?
So yes, many clients have the same conversation within the organization, so whoever asked this question, you're certainly not alone. When mobile site-based experience makes sense, we tend to steer our clients towards thinking about making their website responsive through responsive design. And for those that are not familiar with responsive design, it's a technique where you have one web application that serves up to the PC-based side through tablet, smartphone. So basically the display changes according to the screen size that it needs to serve up to. So in this way, mobile optimized experience can be a lot more manageable for your organization so that you could spend the rest of your time and resources think about higher value ways of leveraging mobile, like some of the things we discussed in the webinar, like, for example, in changing the ways you deliver products and services through the various sensors of the mobile devices. When it comes to apps, that's where the OS becomes a more pertinent discussion. And once again, it depends on who your audience is. But in the B2C space, chances are you'll find your heavier users on the Apple iOS today, but that's certainly changing quickly. So it's something that we need to continue to stay on top of.
Perfect. Thank you, Roz. That is all the time we have for today, everyone, but thank you very much for joining us. The session was recorded, and we will follow up with you shortly via email with all the details of the presentation. If you would like more information, please visit us at www.tenzing.com, and we hope to see you at a future webinar. Have a great day. Bye-bye.